Hey, good morning, guys. Just wanted to jump on here and do a quick video for Life by Design. Life by Design. So, we talk about the economic model, and I'm going to be honest, the answer almost always when you ask an agent, well, what do you want to make as an agent? They say, drum roll, $100,000. Almost always. Well, where does that number come from? The answer to that is thin air, right? It sounds good. Six figures, it sounds good. It's more money than you've ever made, and there's no rationale behind it. So, Life by Design form is on your Trello board. Super, super helpful for figuring out what this actually is and what your number truly is, right? So, I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can see this. Pull up Trello. Here's your Trello board. In the MREA models section, I've got the Life by Design form. Click on it, open it up, and then I'm gonna come down here and open in a new tab. So that way it's a little bit bigger and we can see this. So this is in three sections. Three sections. The first section is your profit allocations. This is the fun part. This is where you guys are deciding what are you going to buy from your profit this year, 2021, 2022, going forward for ad nauseum, right? What do you want to buy with your stuff? Maybe you want to buy a boat. Maybe you want to, like, I want to build a shop right at my house. Maybe you want to take a trip to Disney World, right? Whatever it is, I really want you to think, what do I want out of my profits? So there's going to be no guilt about this. Okay, no guilt about it because you're going to actually lay this form out for what you want to make. Now, I don't want you to guess on how much those things are. If you want a boat, go figure out exactly what type of boat you want. How much is it? How much is tax? How much is title? Like, get that number. Get as exact as you can. The more exact you can be, the better. Then, whatever your things are, fun stuff that you want to do, you total it up. Now, more than likely, you need to talk to your tax advisor, but more than likely, you're in the 25 to 30% tax bracket. So we can just use 30%, right? And then you get your taxes and you add up that total. Okay. Now, once I have my grand total, we're going to take the grand total and divide by your average commission. So now you've got to figure out what's your average sales price, what is your average commission rate, 2.8% for us, right? So you could use a simple number, right, to get close if you wanted to. So $5,000, $6,000. So whatever your grand total is, let's say it's $30,000, and we use 5,000 as our average commission. So I would take 30,000 divided by 5,000, so I would get six. So I need to sell 6 units to fund my profit part. So now, as you're looking at how many units do I have to close this year, six of them are dedicated to going to paying for this stuff that you say you wanted. Working to work is not fun. Working to just pay your bills is not fun. That's not why you got into real estate. You got into real estate so you could fund the perfect life. Well, part of that is this, right? Part of that is doing this top part of the Life by Design. Now, the middle part is your personal expenses. You got to figure out how much it costs you to live. So when you did your agent questionnaire, I asked, all right, approximately how much does it cost you per month to live? And you probably took some guesses. All right. Well, now I want you to figure this out and get in great detail. Right. So I'm going to scroll really fast because on page 2 is the monthly personal budget worksheet. So now you can go through all of these things, maybe get you to figure out a little bit more in depth, right? How much am I spending on clothing each month? How much am I if I go get my hair done, if I get my nails done, if I have Netflix subscription, if I eat out, do I take my dog to the vet, right? Do I go to the car wash? What's my insurance? What's my home warranty? What's my rent or my mortgage? Right? Figuring all this out to get a number for how much I use per month. Okay. Now I come back to my personal expenses. I want to know my yearly amount. So whatever, figure out your monthly bill, your bills are, get those all done, multiply by 12. That's your total. Again, probably 25 to 35% tax bracket if I had to guess, get a grand total. Do the exact same thing you did before, just to fund my monthly bills, not nearly as fun as planning on going to Disney. Divide by my average commission. That's going to tell me how many units I have to have just to pay my bills. Okay. So now I've got how many do I have to sell for my fun stuff? How many do I have to sell for my personal expenses? Third section. This is the business part, right? This is the business part. So your market center cap is 15.5 where we are, plus 3,000 for your royalty fee to international. So that's at 18.5. So that's your COS, that's your cost of sales, right? Bare minimum. Okay. So 18.5. Now, in the expenses, you maybe don't have a whole lot else expense wise, right? You have your MLS dues, you have your insurances, maybe you have a computer printer or something, right? So this can get you some stuff in here to kind of start figuring out some additional expenses you may have. Maybe you're doing some direct mail campaigns. So you've got some marketing expenses, whatever, right? So we can have an argument about where things go in true cost of sales versus expenses. But if you looked at that 30, 30, 40 model that we talked about with the economic model, we're breaking this down to give some sort of idea. The longer you're in business, the more in depth this gets. But just in general, your cost of sales is going to be a minimum of 18.5, and then other expenses that we have for you. I want to talk to each one of you individually about these. Come up with my expense total, add in my 18.5 for my cost of sales, right? So I get my grand total. Same thing. Grand total divided by average commission is your total number. So now I take section A, profit, section B, personal expenses, section 3, business. That gives me my total number of units I have to sell for the year. This number may be different than the, hey, I want to make $100,000 a year. You may be surprised. You may only have to make $67,000 for the year. Or maybe you have to make $113,000 for the year. I don't know. But it's worth taking the time to go through this sheet, go through this exercise, go through this Keller Williams model, figure out, what do I want to buy? What do I want to use my profit for? What's going to make working through 2021 worth it? What's going to be fun? How much do I have to pay for my personal expenses? How much do I have to pay for my business expenses? And get that total number. Now you know how many houses you have to close. That should give you some clarity. And we know clarity is power. So take the time, do this Life by Design form, start working through it, schedule a one on one with your coach so we can go through and talk about this and make sure you're doing it correctly. And you can have some clarity going forward to say, ooh, I know I need to sell 27 houses to be able to do everything that I want to do. Okay. How many do you have just to have bare minimum? Well, I need to sell 19 just to be bare minimum. All right, cool. Do you want to be bare minimum, or do you really want to go to Disney, or do you really want to buy that boat? Well, I really want to buy the boat. Okay, cool. Then we need to make sure that you're pushing, you're working, you're doing the activities to make sure that you can buy these things that you want and not have the regret doing it. Cool. If you have any questions, make sure you guys reach out to me. As always, I'm here to help you guys out and be of service. Talk to you guys soon.